Save the EPA, Part 6. This rally to save the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, was held on Tuesday, March 25, 2025. This action was facilitated by Bradley Angel, Executive Director of Green Action for Health and Environmental Justice. Last speakers, Gary Hughes, Biofuel Watch, MISHWA Lee, 1,000 Grandmothers to Protect Future Generations, speaker who presents a saying from the CREE Nation, and SKYLAR SACOOLAS, Green Action for Health and Environmental Justice. Gary Hughes, Biofuel Watch.
Climate justice group called Biofuel Watch, and I want to spend just a moment here speaking a bit about the new administrator, Josh F.W. Cook. A little bit of an unknown factor, right? Who knows about him? What I do know is he used to work for Doug LaMalfa. Does everyone know who Doug LaMalfa is? Yeah. Super right-wing congressperson up in the northeast part of the state. Well, with a whole bunch of people in the state, and especially with community folks in Stockton, we've been fighting a giant wood pellet export scheme that's been proposed. A company called Golden State Natural Resources that has signed a memorandum of understanding with the UK climate villain Drax. And what they want to do is manufacture 1 million wood pellets a year, sourced from California's forests. 2 giant new wood pellet plants, one in Lassen County and the other in Tuolumne County. And then they want to export 1 million wood pellets a year out through Stockton. And through the environmental review process of this project, Stockton has basically been given the shaft. And even though we reached out to the US EPA during the previous administration, they really didn't have the time for the issue. Now we're really worried about what Administrator Josh Cook is going to do about this project. Because this is a person who's coming, let's recognize it, from a timber industry background. This guy worked for Doug LaMalfa. Doug LaMalfa is someone who took a picture with 2 of the executives from Golden State Natural Resources after a visit in his office, not in front of the United States flag, and not in front of the flag of the state of California, but they took their picture in front of the state of Jefferson flag. Okay, but this is the kind of people that we're dealing with. So I ask everyone to keep your guard up, to be highly attentive to what's going on with this giant wood pellet export scheme, and let's rally, especially to folks in Stockton who haven't been given a good chance to really weigh in and stop this project. So we're going to keep your eyes on you, Josh. We're here for you.
MISHWA Lee, 1,000 Grandmothers for Future Generations, Bay Area.
MISHWA from 1,000 Grandmothers.
We're here for our children, our grandchildren, and future generations. I want to thank all my grandmothers that are here today to represent our future generations. And I want to thank the organizers, and particularly the Black women from Bayview Hunters Point that have been carrying this struggle on for generations, for their children and grandchildren. I also want to tell a quick story. A couple of days ago, we were having a celebration near Heron's Head Park, very close to the shipyard. And all of a sudden, this woman, who some of you may know, June San, she's a Buddhist nun, and she showed up. She's from Japan, but here she was on this day of celebration. And she comes to the shipyard every so often to pray for the victims of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings, and also for the victims who had to work at the shipyard, and it's mostly Black people of color, Black and other people of color.
Like me.
And like Leotis. And
where are you?
They sandblasted the ships that, well, the bombs were assembled in Bayview Hunters Point. They were taken by a big aircraft carrier out to the Pacific, and the planes, those were the ones that bombed Japan. And she comes to pray for the victims there and also the victims in Hunters Point that were the workers that were forced to sandblast those ships that returned with all that radioactivity and sandblasted without proper equipment. So this made me recognize that our military is contaminating the world everywhere. We have over 700 bases. We don't clean them up, and there's 250 here in the U.S. They're probably all on the Superfund site list. So we have a struggle not just to rebuild a healthy world for all, but to prevent the robber barons that are trying to control our country. And we will prevail. The planet is more important than profit. Planet over profit. Planet over profit. Planet over profit. Planet over profit.
Planet over profit. Thank you, 1,000 grandmothers. Let's hear it for them. Okay, we're nearing the end of our program.
The speaker who presents a saying from the Cree Nation: "We cannot eat money."
Aggression at the local, state, and federal levels. Google it. Also, I want to remember to tell you about the Tesla takedown every Saturday from 12 p.m. noon to 2 p.m. at the Tesla showroom on Van Ness. I think it's 999 Van Ness O'Farrell. We're every week, every Saturday, it's getting bigger and bigger. And so come on to Tesla and protest the capitalist takeover billionaires of the federal government. And we're standing on land that was stolen through deceit and violence from the indigenous peoples of this continent. And I want to share with you a quote which you probably heard, attributed to the Cree Nation. Only when the last tree has been cut down, the last fish caught, and the last stream poisoned, will we realize we cannot eat money. Yes. Thank you.
SKYLAR SACOOLAS. Bradley Angel, Executive Director of Green Action for Health and Environmental Justice, introduced the last speaker, SKYLAR SACOOLAS.
Hi, my name's Skylar. I'm with Green Action for Health and Environmental Justice. So much of what I planned to say and wrote down has been said by my wonderful peers who spoke before me. So, as we all know, a couple weeks ago, the so-called EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin announced the biggest deregulation action in U.S. history with the promise to unleash American energy. We are here to oppose this dangerous assault on environmental justice, our communities, and our planet by collectively calling for a stop to the attempts to gut the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. We oppose the elimination and weakening of pollution rules, regulations, and laws that were put in place to protect our communities, ecosystems, and waterways. These regulations often directly help protect communities all around the country from hazards like industrial pollution, environmental contamination, and poor air quality, and we need more of them, not less. We need the EPA to center justice, grow stronger, more protective, not lose power, and further cater to dirty industries. From our Bay Area communities at risk from sea level rise and shoreline contamination, to our Central Valley communities struggling from hazardous waste to pesticides, to our indigenous communities facing invasive mining practices, to the Moss Landing community that impacted by the recent lithium battery fire. Too many of our communities are impacted and harmed by pollution and toxic exposure, with many impacted more so because of environmental racism. We need an EPA that puts protecting the environment and the communities that live within them first, and not sacrifice that by, quote, powering the Great American Comeback. This Great American Comeback outlined by the EPA includes 5 pillars, where only one of them has to do with protecting the environment. The others include, quote, restoring American energy dominance, permitting reform, making the United States the artificial intelligence capital of the world, and bringing back American auto jobs, which I don't really know how that has to do with the EPA's core mission. This EPA would not serve the people, it would serve industry and billionaires, and we will not sit idly by and watch the EPA crumble. Thank you everyone so much for being here. Thank you everyone who spoke. Thank you for all the organizations that showed up.
What do we want? Clean air! When we want it? Now! What we want? Clean air! When we want it? Now! What we want? Clean air! When we want it? Now! What we want? Clean air! When we want it? Now! What we want? Justice! When we want it? Now! What we want? Justice! When we want it? Now! What we want? Justice! When we want it? Now! What we want? Justice! When we want it? Now! God bless y'all. Loving you is wrong. I don't want to be right.
God bless you, Leo.
And we'll be back. Thank you all.
This action was organized by the Emergency Environmental Justice Coalition, Green Action for Health and Environmental Justice, California Environmental Justice Coalition, Richmond Shoreline Alliance, 350 SF, Sunflower Alliance, Sierra Club SF Bay Area Chapter, Tri-Valley Cares, Bayview Hunters Point Mothers and Fathers Committee, Answer Coalition, 1,000 Grandmothers for Future Generations Bay Area, System Change, Not Climate Change, Biofuel Watch, All Things Bayview.